Hello again. For today's discussion, we are going to take a closer look at a subject that attracts and stuns a lot of people. Tiny houses are considered liberating, minimalistic, and environment-friendly, but that's not the whole story. Today, we are going to discuss the top 7 reasons people leave tiny house living for good. If you are either fantasizing about living in a smaller place or just interested in the lifestyle, this video will provide you with the insider information. Let's begin. Lack of space. The most glaring and perhaps the largest challenge among all tiny home living issues is lack of space. The size of a tiny house is usually in between 100 to 400 square feet, and it becomes a tough task even to store essentials in such small areas. A majority of the people living in a normal home are oblivious to the fact that their closet space needs are much bigger than those for clothes, kitchen utensils, personal belongings, and hobbies combined. Living in such a minute environment calls for a very disciplined organization and prioritization of matters. Deliberate becomes every activity: the cooking, the washing, and the ironing, etc. Because there is no extra space to extend. Kitchen counters are small, storage cupboards are few, and wardrobes are sometimes very small or simply lacking. This situation pushes the inhabitants to scrutinize very closely each and every item they possess and ask themselves if it really brings value to their life. As time goes by, this continuous mental effort can turn out to be very tiring. The presence of tiny home living also has an impact on the way one interacts with his or her environment. Everywhere is less space to move around, and thus everything must be in its place, and every decision made must be carefully thought out. For some, this is a way out and a chance to learn the hard way, but for others, it is a source of irritation and stress. It can be very surprising how difficult the transition can be, especially for those who are accustomed to the conventional homes. Privacy issues. Privacy is one of the primary factors that drive people away from tiny home living. It is in the very small living arrangement where even the faintest of disagreements are greatly magnified. It is almost impossible to find a separate space to do office work, relax, or just stay alone. For instance, a person working on a laptop, while another is preparing food or watching TV, can very soon feel squeezed in. In fact, privacy is more than just a matter of comfort, and it is a matter of mental health. Humans need space for decompressing, reflecting, and feeling autonomous. Without it, even small conflicts can become more serious over time. Some people living in tiny homes try things like lofted beds, folding partitions, or outdoor spaces to solve their privacy issues, but these are often only temporary fix and may not actually meet the need for solitude. Moreover, couples facing privacy issues in tiny homes may find it hard to keep their relationship alive. Such a lifestyle entails that one has to compromise, be patient, and communicate very clearly. Small habits that would not be noticed in a larger house, such as leaving personal belongings scattered about or taking too long in the washroom, can easily cause strife in a tiny living space. Social challenges. Social life in a tiny home changes a lot. Tiny homes are not meant to be places where parties take place or where guests come often. The very limited space can hardly fit more than 2 visitors anyway. Hosting even a small dinner can be a stressful experience, as there are not enough chairs, a small counter, and little room to walk about. This sometimes results in the residents being cut off from their friends and family. Besides, tiny living impacts on one's social life considerably. People who gain strength from frequent interactions may perceive the tiny home lifestyle as a form of solitude. Social isolation or the hassle of hosting might turn out to be the major factor for some people to go back to a bigger place. To the contrary, cultural and social factors may come into play. Guests might be put off by the tiny living concept, or might even look at the limited space unfavorably. This could, in turn, discourage the residents even more from entertaining, and lead to feelings of being disconnected socially. Maintenance and practical issues. It is a common misconception that maintenance works in a tiny home is easy. The cleansing after might take less time because of the limited space available, but the maintenances to the mechanical functions of a tiny home can turn out to be unique and by no means simple to manage. Such utilities as plumbing, electricity, heating, and water may need to be tailored solutions, which would not only require more delicate handling but could also be prone to issues. A case in point is that these small water tanks may get empty before anticipated, tiny appliances might become defective quickly due to constant use, and solar panels or composting toilets, which are off-grid systems, would need regular care and maintenance. This degree of maintenance might come as a surprise and be mentally draining for a person who has been living in a regular house. Furthermore, sometimes repair or replacement parts are specially made or are of a non-standard size, which makes even the simplest of fixes more costly. And time-consuming maintenance problems are made worse by the fact that once there is a problem, it has a direct and total impact on the whole dwelling. There is no spare room to overlook issues or to go around them like in a bigger house. Zoning and legal restrictions. The legal challenges of tiny home livings are often underestimated by many people. Not every city or county gives approval for tiny homes to be set up permanently. In many locations, zoning laws, building codes, and land use restrictions can limit the use of a tiny house as a full-time residence. Some municipalities impose strict minimum square footage requirements, while others entirely prohibit the establishment of mobile or off-grid tiny homes. Even though legal placement is open to discussion, permit acquisition can be a long process and cost a lot. For some, the maze of the bureaucratic system is a bigger source of frustration than the freedom that tiny home living provides. It is vital for anyone dreaming of tiny living to understand the local legal situation. The truth is that tiny houses are not accepted everywhere, and the success of living in one is not only about personal adjustment, but also about dealing with the external constraints. Lifestyle limitations. Living in a micro house usually demands a total change of lifestyle. The limitations of space affect all areas of life, including cooking, entertaining, hobbies, and daily routines. You may have to cut down your closets, kitchenware, and personal belongings to fit into a microhouse. Some activities that were straightforward in a bigger home become more complicated or even impossible in a tiny space. Crafting projects, doing indoor exercises, hosting several guests, or working from home might all need some sort of creative solutions or might even not be possible in some layouts. This compels the inhabitants to lead a very intentional life where every choice is carefully considered. There are people who flourish under these limitations and consequently acquire the skills of discipline and efficiency. Others view the limitations as chokeholds, and this drains them mentally. Tiny home living is a lifestyle change that's not suitable for everyone. Financial miscalculations. It is a common misconception among many that tiny houses are inexpensive. However, the real situation is quite the opposite. Although downsizing one's living space may lead to considerable savings in mortgage and utility bills, still, there are frequently unanticipated expenses. The building of personalized elements, solar energy systems for non-grid users, and the buying of land could rapidly accumulate to a huge amount. Continuing maintenance, insurance, and improvements could at times turn out to be more expensive per square foot than predicted. Tiny houses may also need specialized appliances, fixtures, or even furniture that are quite costly. Most of the time, the residents find out that their financial planning was not realistic, and this leads them to disappointment and irritation. One of the major causes of financial miscalculations is that people eventually give up on the tiny house lifestyle. The hope of living a simple life and saving money is often at odds with the actual expenses incurred. In case this video motivated you or opened your eyes to a new aspect of tiny living, please press the like button and subscribe in order not to miss anything from smart design and creative spaces. Tiny living is not a mere trend. It is a new way of thinking about what is really important. Thank you for watching and stay curious. I'll catch you next time.